Welcome to the Galvanize with Gavin podcast. This is your host, baseball player and entrepreneur, Gavin Johns. This podcast will empower you to reach your fullest potential in life. Inspirational stories, keys to success, and practical methods to overcome life's challenges will be revealed. I encourage you to be the light in the lightning and spark a positive change in the world today. How's everyone doing? Welcome to the Galvanize with Gavin podcast. Today we have a very special guest on, UCLA softball player, and she has an amazing inspirational story about overcoming multiple open heart surgeries. She's been mentioned in numerous articles on ESPN.com, Sports Center interview. She even threw out the first pitch at Dodger Stadium for the Los Angeles Dodgers. A lot of great things going for her, Stevie, but it hasn't always been easy. And God has been working through all of it, through the midst of all of it. So just wanted to introduce Stevie Wisz. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I'm super grateful and blessed to be here, and I'm just excited for this conversation. And thank you for being who you are and inspiring a bunch of us. So thank you.
Amen. Amen. So just some quick background. Stevie and I, we met at UCLA. Obviously, I played baseball there. She played softball. And we had a great friendship through Bruin Varsity Life on campus there. Shout out Bruin Varsity Life and everyone a part of that. Had a huge impact in our life as far as faith and athletes. And, my time at UCLA was amazing, and I met amazing people, different sports, including Stevie. So I'm grateful as well. And yeah, absolutely. So we'll basically just get into it. Have a couple questions. So first, I wanted to ask, as far as softball, how that passion started and how you got into that career, would you say?
Yeah, so I grew up just loving sports. My family, I was born into a family who loves sports, whether it be soccer, volleyball, tennis. Like I played every single sport growing up. And it wasn't until I was, I believe, 8 years old when things with my heart really took a turn for the worse. And I had to, by the orders of my doctors, kind of cut back on some of the sports that required, increased cardio or just the sports that required a lot to do with your heart. So I had to quit basketball, track, soccer, all that stuff. And it kind of just left me with softball, which is a slower, pace sport, as we know. And while I was, 8-year-old girl, super competitive, love sports, it was really hard for me during that time, to be forced to quit the things I love. But that's when I truly fell in love with softball. Um, it was the only thing in my life that made me feel, despite my heart disease, it made me feel worthy and good enough. So just as a result of that, growing up, ever since then, I just really fell in love with the game. Played all the way throughout high school. And I was just so, focused on my academics at that point in my life. I didn't really want to play at the next level in college. So I actually didn't, play on any travel teams or these big name teams in order for me to play in college. I just wanted to go to college, get into school, and just focus on my sports and get going in my career, which I knew would be in medicine. So I actually got into UCLA as a normal student, applied my senior year, got there, and being 3 hours away from home, it doesn't seem that far, but for me it was, especially given that me and my family were so close just with my heart and everything. And after my first quarter at UCLA, I actually just really missed being part of a team and having friends and community and people who just like pushed me to be a better me. And so ironically enough, I was just like, I might as well just email the UCLA softball coaches, like try out. The worst they can say is no, or it doesn't work out. And I'm back to where I was at square one. Like I didn't want to play in college, so might as well just try. And by the grace of God, I was actually offered a walk-on spot. So I actually walked on at UCLA, and then after that, it was just the rest is history. God did the rest. So super grateful for softball. Always, that is the sport of like number one sport. Love it to death, and it'll always be a part of my life. So
That's amazing. That's amazing. Wow, it's always cool to hear people's journey. Everyone has a unique journey, and Yeah, that's amazing. So, as far as that softball, not only did you, start on as a walk on, but you made it all the way to the pinnacle. You're a national champion, NCAA softball national champion. And so that's a huge accomplishment. Tell us a little bit about that, what that experience was like.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you know, the grind, being a college athlete, D1 athlete, especially at UCLA, it's a full-time job. Like it is a grind, whether it's school, practice, weights, like your schedule is jam-packed. And so when we were able to win that national championship, it really just brought everything together and just really symbolized all of the work we've put in, not even just those 4 years, but like our entire lives,
Mm,
both, you know, on and off the field. So it was like you can't even explain the feelings that you had like in the moment. And I think for me, especially, like number one, being a walk on, but also like we won the national championship a week before I was going to graduate, like from UCLA as like a first generation college student, which is super special to me. And then number two, like I was anticipating my third open heart surgery at that time. So like holding that trophy just like helped me just forget about all of the fear and anxieties that I was having about the upcoming surgery and that kind of thing. So it just all of it came to fruition when we were able to win that national championship, and it's honestly just the one of the best moments of my life, and I'll remember it for forever. So
that's amazing. That's amazing. Thanks for sharing the story. So I wanted to get into about talking about the heart. Um, and I think it's ironic too that not ironic, but it's fun that um, you went through a lot of adversity with your heart, literally like the literal organ. Um,
yes,
but you know you have an amazing heart, and I don't just say that to make it
thank
sound
you,
cool, but I really do believe that that
thank you.
God has blessed you with an amazing heart, and that's something that you can carry the rest of your life, and it will help not only you but many others in this world, and in heaven as well, and once we get there. um so I wanted to, start with asking, a little bit about, that heart condition, aortic stenosis. You had 5 open heart surgeries. It must have been incredibly difficult. That was a lot of adversity, a lot of challenges. There were moments where you didn't know if you're going to wake up the next day. That's almost as real as it gets. And so I wanted to ask, one, how that was, that process was, emotionally, and then how God got you through that, would you say?
Yeah, totally. So my first two open heart surgeries, I was on the younger end. I was 7 and 13 or so. So while they're still big, scary surgeries, I don't think I had the emotional capacity or intelligence at that point to like fully, oh, sorry, excuse me, fully understand just the intensity of it all.
Mm,
But I would say from my third open heart surgery to the present one that I just had, yeah, it's definitely challenging. I would say more so physic or emotionally than
mm,
physically.
mm,
Especially, you know, now that I'm mature enough and have experienced a lot in my life, and I've, you know, come to the realization that life is truly precious and you're never promised tomorrow.
mm,
So especially this last little health scare I had a severe infection and it attacked my heart, and doctors needed to do an immediate surgery. Like I got there and they were like, we need to do this as soon as we can. And so obviously it's never a comfortable conversation having when the doctors themselves are on edge and in a hurry to do something. So I would just say, yeah, it was the darkest time of my life. And as hard as that is for me to admit, I've never um, been one who's like struggled with mental health, fortunately. But I will say that this little experience in my life has made me realize how important one's mental health is. Like your health doesn't just base isn't just based on your physical health. Like it's your mental health, emotional health, like all of it put together. And so while I was at my lowest of lows mentally and physically, that's when I really had to dig deep and tell myself, like, I'm going to get through this. And with the grace of God and just leaning on Him, and throughout all the uncertainty, it was Him who got me through it. And I knew He would. Um, bad days and good days, I always just knew that he was there. And although I didn't know what was coming next, he did. And yeah, I just truly believe that there's always purpose in pain, and God has everyone's stories already written. And mine just had to be that. And I'm super grateful. And he's just such a faithful father. And it took that pain for me to realize that even more. If that makes sense.
Wow. Wow. That's powerful, I really appreciate you sharing as well, because I know, those painful and dark times, they're not easy to talk about, because
Hmm.
some of the emotions and thoughts come back.
Yeah.
But your story is encouraging, being able to share it with others, because it gives them hope, it gives them inspiration, it gives them confidence that, whatever they're going through, whatever they're struggling with, little or big,
Yeah.
whether it's they're struggling with their health, whether they're just having a bad day, whether there's things in their relationship, whatever it may be, there's always hope, and God's
Yeah.
right there, and He wants to help us through that situation, just how He got you through that. And that is so powerful. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you sharing your story, and I know it's not always easy being transparent and vulnerable. So I commend you for your courage. I
Thank
really,
you. Thank you. It means a lot. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So after, um, or actually during your time at UCLA, or shortly after, you had the opportunity to throw out the first pitch at Dodger Stadium to Kenley Jensen. What was that experience like? That had to be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I it was opportunity of a lifetime. Obviously, Kenley had reached out via Twitter. He himself had some heart issues and had undergone surgery in the past, so he was just saying that he knew, the emotions and feelings of what I was going through because he was once in my shoes, and that he would love to have me at Dodger Stadium.
Wow.
And so my team was invited to Dodger Stadium to celebrate us winning the national championship. And that same night, I was able to throw the first pitch in front of the entire stadium to Kenley, which was actually a very special moment. Honestly, I blacked out when I threw the pitch. I was so nervous, but it was a strike, I guess. So that's all that matters.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a very special time. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, like you said, once in a lifetime opportunity, and I'm sure the adrenaline was going on the
yeah,
mound, excited to throw that ball, and that's cool that you had that memory. That's very special. I know you'll never forget that moment. So
never forget it. No.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So recently, just as you briefly mentioned, you got into PA school as a physician assistant. Studying and completing that. Congratulations, first of all,
Thank
and
you.
second of all, tell us about some of that excitement, just heading into that. You've always, you said, dreamt of going that direction in the medical field. So how excited are you for that?
Yeah, I still have no words. I've always known I wanted to be in medicine. I just didn't know which profession or route I wanted to go. So out of college, I actually took a gap year, improved my application, got some hours experience, that kind of thing. And I actually applied in 2020 to about 15 different schools, and that was just a really long process. And honestly, got a bunch of rejections. I was pretty naive going into that. I got waitlisted at a few schools, but a majority of the schools rejected me, which was very hard, obviously, to cope with and that kind of thing, which made me apply the next year. I had to reapply again. And that was in April of 2021. And unfortunately, in October of 2021 is when I got sick. And that's when the bulk of the programs that you apply to interview for spots in their program for the upcoming year. And so while I was in the hospital, literally anticipating the open heart surgery and the pacemaker surgery, I actually did an interview with the same coat
Well,
in my hospital room, like connected to an IV pole for 6 hours before I had that surgery. Um, and it was actually just full circle, like total God shot. It was actually for a Christian school that
wow.
I, the year previous or prior, totally ghosted me, didn't even tell me yes or no. And it's my dream school. So I just like the entire time, both cycles, a bunch of rejections. It takes a toll on you emotionally, but in the back of my head, I always knew that God would put me where I was supposed to be
Mm.
in the end. And so just about 3 weeks ago, I was getting on a plane and I got the call, the acceptance call, and just burst out into tears, praising God, just giving him all the glory. So I still have no words. I'm super excited and I'm just grateful to be part of a PA program in general, but especially one that's, Christian based. It's just amazing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
praise God. That's exciting. I can hear the passion in
Yeah.
your voice and your tone. You're excited and so that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, go for it. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Thanks. Yeah.
So
I'm excited.
you know, you have a lot of, great things going for you, and the fact that, you have that resilience and that tenacity that you've been through a lot, to say the least, you know what I mean? Um, but God has a funny way of using those circumstances,
Yeah.
uh, for one, his glory, and then two, to not only, bless you in your future, but bless others as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's just so amazing. It's really mysterious how he works. I
Yep.
never fully understand everything, but
Never.
uh, you're a living testament of that, and it's super, super inspirational. So
Thank you.
that's
Thank you.
great. That's awesome. So one of your passions, in addition to, the things we already mentioned, is just fitness as a whole, right? And taking care of the body and taking care of the mind, like you said, um, and living that healthy lifestyle. Obviously, you've had moments where you weren't able to do that as much as you want to. It was out of your control, but you're still a big advocate for living that healthy lifestyle, and I think that's amazing. um, you have a social media, Instagram, that on SwizzFit. Shout out SwizzFit. I love the
Shout out Swiss
name.
Fit.
Anyways, I just like saying it, to be honest,
Me too. It's okay.
Yeah, SwizzFit.
I'll admit it. It's cool.
So that's super awesome. You're posting super awesome content on there with workouts, like practical workouts that people can do like today with
Yeah.
items around their house, weights, you don't need much to live a healthy lifestyle, right? Like,
No.
so I love that. And the fact that, you're encouraging others and at the same time, like, you're uplifting yourself while you're doing it. I think, people, some people don't really realize the total benefits of, taking care of the body. So would you mind just kind of speaking to that? If you
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah, so I would say ever since high school, I've just fell in love with health and fitness, not just like working out, going to the gym, that kind of thing, but the entirety of health and fitness. So fueling your body right, treating it right, giving yourself enough rest, nourishing foods, like all that stuff is super important, not only for your physical health, but also, like you said, like your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health. They're
Mhm.
all connected. Um, and yeah, so just over the years, especially with my heart disease, I've learned how important it is to take care of the temple that we've been given. The food that you put in your body, if you eat a Snickers and all this junk food, you're going to feel pretty poorly because those
Yeah.
foods aren't necessarily good for you in large amounts. Whereas on the other hand, if you're fueling yourself with good whole foods like vegetables, fruits, whole grains, all that kind of stuff, you're gonna feel
Mm,
obviously better than you would be if you're gonna fuel with poor choices.
mm,
And so just through the years, I've found like a balance between both. I've tried all the fad diets. I've had struggled with an eating disorder in the past. So I've just really learned that everything in moderation and balance, like you can live a healthy lifestyle, but still enjoy the foods and the activities that you enjoy. Um, and it's just super important. It's helped me not only, like I said, physically, but it's helped with my mental health, my emotional health, and also gives me something to like look forward to and work
yeah.
towards every single day. Like as an athlete, I was always used to like getting better at hitting or getting better at this. Whereas like when you're in the real world, it's like, okay, I can get better at my job, but I want more things that I
Mm,
can actively work toward to get better on. And so that's like been my little project is like Swiss Fit, helping other people at the same
mm,
time, like I'm investing in myself and helping myself. And I just think it's super fun. It's coming up with these new recipes, these new workouts. Like, it's fun to challenge yourself day in and day out. And once you start seeing the benefits and the rewards of it and all of it pay off, you just get addicted, and it's just really fun. So I'm really grateful for health and fitness. It's really changed my life and the way I view life. Um, so yeah, it's a little bit about it.
Let's go. Fire
Yeah, I could
up.
go on and on, so I'm just gonna.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. Good. Awesome. Yeah. Heck yeah. Yeah. That was awesome. That was awesome. So, um, for everyone listening as well, recently, God gave me a vision to create a platform to be able to help people in all these aspects as we're talking about, in the mind, in the body, in the spirit. And ended up, getting a team together, including, myself, and Stevie's actually a part of the team as well. So very grateful to have her on board. And basically, what it is, it hasn't launched yet, but it's coming soon. So stay ready. It's going to be a platform, just like I said, for that, and it's going to be personal coaches. So we're going to be able to talk one on one like this, just like we're doing here, through a video technology, and we'll also be able to offer group webinars. So many people can join, and there's going to be other resources coming as well. And then in the future, already in conversations of developing developing an app, and not too far in the future, I feel like God's given me some vision to be able to have in-person things, as far as a health and wellness center, and have locations around the world. So took what started as a podcast, and now it's a full on company, Galvanized Global. And so it's coming soon. So everyone stay ready. And yeah, we're excited. So I was going to ask Stevie, what are you most looking forward to from this platform, would you say?
Yeah, I first off want to just congratulate you. Like, from day one, you have just been so determined and driven and just passionate about it. And it's just really inspiring to watch. And I'm even more excited to be a part of it and just be in this community with you, not only locally, but globally. And I just think it's super special. And, it's a great group of people and it's led by great people. So I'm just super honored and grateful and excited to be surrounded by people who not only want to get better, but help me get better, help you get better, and just focus on wellness as a whole, not just physically, not just mentally, but as a whole. So I think it's going to be really, really good. So, like you said, people stay ready, stay tuned, because it's going to be good.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just like you said too, is like they're all connected, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And when one of them are, out of whack, out of place, it affects all the other ones, right? So that's
Yep.
what we want to do at Galvanize Global, is be able to provide people with all the resources they need to be able to keep, you know, their mind, their body, their spirit all in tuned, right? And that's the community as well. The community being able to communicate with that coach who can help guide you along this process. And yeah, so I'm super excited, as you can tell, and Stevie as well. So definitely excited. So stay ready for that, for what's to come. In finishing up here, I wanted to ask you, Stevie, um, as far as a Bible verse, if you had to pick one Bible verse that sticks out to you, maybe something that's carried you through a difficult time, one of these adversities as you described, or just life in general, what would you say? What would you pick?
Yeah. So day one verse, always and forever. No one can ever tell me any different.
Mm.
I don't know if you can see, I have it on my wall. Let me get it.
Yeah, let's
Philippians
go.
4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That verse in itself just is so powerful and has truly carried me through all the adversity in my life. And I can count numerous people who that verse has also helped them through some of their darkest times, their best times, etc. Yeah, it's my favorite verse. It forever will be. And it really has gotten me through some of life's toughest storms. So
Woo, let's go. Sweet, that's sweet. Yeah, though, that's a staple right there, and the thing what I've learned, and you can attest to this too, is like, when we, repeat these Bible verses and remind us of the truth, and keep it fresh in our mind, that just like you said, when we're going through a difficult time, that it can provide us encouragement and it can get us through that difficult time. And even in good times, if everything's going well, it can keep us humble and it can keep
Yep.
us level-headed, and it can remind us that, you know, there's things out there that are bigger than ourselves. And so yeah, that's super
Yeah. Of
powerful. Sharing that, that's awesome.
course. Yeah.
All right, so yeah, that's all we got for this episode on Galvanize with Gavin podcast. Stevie, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. That was
Thank you
amazing.
for having me. It was a blast. And I'm super grateful to have shared my story and just to know you and to get to know you more through this community. And I'm super excited. So thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. All glory to God, of course. And yeah, everyone go follow Stevie. Steve, social media, so they can follow you.
It's at SWiz or Swizz, and there's three Z's at the end. So SWISZZZ. So
All right. Go follow Stevie. And, TikTok as well. She's on TikTok. Is this TikTok the same? Same.
it's just Stevie Wiz on TikTok. Yeah.
Stevie Wiz TikTok. She's got great videos, super inspirational, and she's real. That's what I value. Stevie is she's not going to sugarcoat it, and that's where people connect. That's how you connect with others, and that's how you impact others, and people just appreciate genuineness more. So if you want to go see some inspirational content that's super genuine, super impactful, go follow her on that. And yeah, Stevie, I'm super proud of you. So keep up the
Thank
good work.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Ditto. Thanks for having me. It's awesome.
Of course, of course. All right, Stevie, have a good one. God
Thank
bless.
you too. God bless.
Thank you all for tuning in to the Galvanize with Gavin podcast. I hope you were inspired and empowered to reach your fullest potential in life. For more resources, visit gavinjohns.com. For businesses interested in sponsoring the podcast, visit gavinjohns.com/sponsor. Thank you all, and God bless.